If you've taken an online strengths survey and didn't really like what it told you, is there anything you can do about it? Let's see what the science suggests. Hi there, Michelle here from McQuaid TV. We're helping you find ways to move from functioning to flourishing by putting the latest science to the real-world test. Now, while a growing body of research suggests there may be all sorts of benefits to developing your strengths at work, including feeling more confident, energised and happier, when you complete a strength assessment like the VIA survey or Gallup StrengthsFinder, there's no guarantee that you'll like what these results find. After all, just because you're good at something and enjoy doing it doesn't mean that these will be the strengths you need or that you want for your job right now. Now, having taught thousands of people around the world to develop their strengths, I'm no longer surprised when people tell me that they feel slightly dismayed, that their strengths are so boring, that they have nothing to do with their job, or that they'd like some completely different top strengths to be drawing upon. But if you don't like your strengths, is there really anything you can do to change them? Well, drumroll please. It appears that researchers now agree that both our talents and our character strengths are capable of change. You see, while our strengths exist within us, they're also shaped by the situations that we find ourselves in. And this is why people who take the free VIA survey on an annual basis often find that while some strengths stay consistently high, others will move around. For example, creativity and curiosity are nearly always in my top strengths. But over the last 8 years, zest will move up or down depending on how well I'm physically looking after myself. Neuroscience has also found that because our brains are capable of learning right throughout our lives, that with enough regular practice, it is possible to build new neural pathways that help us to become good at and enjoy doing new behaviours. Now, let me be clear, there's still hot debate over how long this might take, and some popular estimates suggest it might be as high as 8,000 to 10,000 hours of practice, which is quite a lot, but it is possible. For example, 8 years ago, love was my 20th strength, but having intentionally tried to consistently cultivate more loving behaviour in my life, it has now moved up to become one of my top strengths. So, what can you do to change your strengths? Here are the 3 things I recommend when people tell me they don't like their strengths. Firstly, check if your survey results are right. If your results really don't feel like you, then share them with colleagues, friends or family who know you well and ask them to rate what your top strengths are and be guided by all of this input and what you know to be true about yourself. Recently, I had someone in a workshop who was struggling to navigate a lot of changes in his life, a new job and a new baby for a start. When he got his VIA survey results, he acknowledged that while they were an accurate reflection of his strengths right now, it didn't really feel like who he was when life wasn't so tumultuous. So, he took the survey again, but this time he answered the questions based on more stable periods of his life. And this time, the answers felt much more like who he was at his best. So he decided to work towards finding ways to dial these strengths back up in his life. It's an important reminder that surveys are tools and not magic oracles. So trust what you and the people who know you best identify as your strengths. Secondly, by definition, all strengths are good things. So if your strengths results feel like you, but you just think they're a little boring, it might be time to rediscover the value of what these strengths bring to you and others. Humility might not feel like the most exciting strength, but when it makes it possible for you to quietly and authentically get things done in teams environments, I'm going to guess that other people will find that pretty valuable. One of my coaching clients recently brought me in her strength results, dismayed that she sounded like a nun. And I asked her if the strengths felt like her at her best, and she reluctantly nodded her head. It was only when we started exploring all the different ways her strengths like honesty, kindness and perspective showed up, and the positive impact they help her have, that she began to realise that maybe these strengths weren't quite so bad. Finally, remember that your strengths are buildable and changeable. They exist within you and within the situations that you find yourself in. So by prioritising the practice of specific strengths, like I did with my strength of love, or by putting yourself in situations that give you more opportunity to develop your strengths, like going to the gym to improve your zest, you can create change. Just be realistic about the amount of time and effort this might take. Want to try developing your strengths right now? Then share this video with your family and friends, especially those who might be struggling to find the joy in their strengths. And if you'd like more practical and playful ideas from the latest science on human flourishing, then be sure to subscribe or stop by michellemcquaid.com, leave your name and email address so you can hear all our news first. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching Michelle McQuaid TV. Remember, you are good enough, so don't be afraid to let your strengths shine. Until next time, take care. Now, Sebastian, strengths like honesty, perspective, humility, prudence may not be the most exciting things, but I appreciate you for them. I love it when you're honest enough to tell me that you need a hug, and I appreciate your perspective that you don't enjoy the cheap dog food, you want something more expensive. And I value your prudence when it comes to barking really loudly when you feel like any stranger is approaching the house and trying to keep us all safe. So can you see, these strengths might not be the most exciting, but I value them and I think you should as well. But maybe let's dial up the humour and playfulness a bit more and head out for a run. Want to go for a run? Come on, let's go for a run. Come on, Sebastian, let's run.